things.
Yeah, you kind of improve and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
But I am impressed that you never actually watched Bleach.
I did not. I know that's a big
Tsukaya.
it's a big gap. But to be honest, I was never like a huge anime fan. Yeah. I'm not big into Japanese culture in general. As in like I am an enjoyer of the basic stuff. Like like Dragon Ball,
Yeah, the stuff that was on
Death
Italian
Note.
television, I suppose. At
I
the
mean,
time,
Death
yeah.
Note. I watched Death Note. I
Yeah.
watched, a couple of other animes, but I'm
Yeah.
not big on anime.
Yeah, anime has its own universe, and maybe one day we can discuss it. But in the meantime, I think it's time to say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
As usual, you sneak up on us. We start talking about stuff, and then we start.
Yeah, and very very easily we get derailed immediately. Like
Yes.
like 2 minutes ago we were talking about what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Ended up talking about Bleach and anime and stuff like that.
Because I mean, he's wearing a T-shirt from
Toshiro Hitsugaya from Bleach, one of my all-time favorite anime to watch. I love it. I grew up with it back when I was a teenager, like 16, 17-year-old times. That's now 17, 18-year-old, like years ago
18
now.
years ago, Jesus. We're old. We old people. We hope you are also old people like us, or maybe younger, or maybe older.
I like to think that our podcast, session 1, just in case you don't know, session 1.
Yeah, welcome to session 1.
Welcome to session 1.
Did we
is
say
for
that?
Oli.
Yes, we did say
I think we did. But it's there for everyone. There for everyone. For
well, I mean, yeah.
young people, shall we say more experienced people, mature people,
Experienced.
amateurs.
With
barely
gray
have,
hair.
You barely have any.
I do have a lot of them. Trust me. Like that's why usually I shave the sides of my head, because I have a lot of gray hair.
Now I've decided to embrace it.
I know, me too. I have it in my beard as well,
Yeah.
but
I've decided to embrace it because salt and pepper is seasoning, and I want to appear seasoned.
okay, like a good steak, well seasoned.
Well, I mean, Gordon Ramsay can never complain about me. Then,
yeah, exactly.
Well seasoned.
Exactly.
I may be raw though.
You might be raw.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. After all these years, you're still raw.
Perhaps. Yeah. I will never be at that level.
I feel burned, actually. I feel on the opposite side.
2 minutes out the door right now in this current season in Malta. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still pretty hot in Malta. Depending on when you're watching, because maybe you're watching these as soon as we publish it, or maybe you're watching it in the future. But
How's the future?
How's the future?
Is it still bleak?
Is it still bright? I was gonna say.
Okay, so there we go. Our typical
again.
diametrically opposed points of views.
And talking about diametrically opposed points of view, so today I came with a question to you.
Okay.
Because obviously I approach things in my way, and I know that you do many things in a different way.
Fair. Yeah.
Especially, let's give a little bit of context first.
Yeah.
We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're gonna talk about character creation in Dungeons and Dragons. So my question is, when you get the chance to play,
Never.
which is it's not very often nowadays.
No.
But I think in the next few months you will get a few chances to play.
I think I'm looking forward to the next few months.
I will be DMing for you a couple of times,
and I'm looking forward to it.
according to our plans.
That yeah.
And we said this in another episode before. We actually do have plans.
We even have an Excel sheet about it. That's how serious we are.
It might not look like,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
we do have a plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, according to our plans, you will get a chance to play for a little bit. Obviously, it will be one shots or like shorter term games. How do you approach character creation? In the sense, do you start from choosing the class and the race and the mechanics, like doing a build, or you start with the story, the inspiration for the character, and then you get to the mechanics? Because I know how I do it, but
I mean, probably we're gonna be doing it differently. But for me, it's going to be a human warlock, great old one for all of them. No,
that's pretty easy.
that is my go-to character. But no, joking aside, are we talking about character creation for the first ever created character, or are we talking about like, you've got a few games under your belt and you're
obviously
making a character?
I think the first character creation is always different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't have that nuance of knowing really what you're doing. Like when you're creating your first D&D character, you most of the time have no idea what you're doing.
And to be fair, most probably you're going to have the DMs helping creating your first character as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, in every game, but
but in the first one,
So yeah, okay. So if we're talking about regular, so let's call it regular character creation. I like to begin with the setting first and foremost. Like, okay, what is the setting? Is the setting a high fantasy one? Is it Forgotten Realms? Is it steampunk? Is it I don't know, sci-fi, whatever? You start with the setting, and typically I do have an idea of a character that I would like to play, a kind of character. The personality perhaps starts to factor in the beginning stages of character creation for me, and I try to find ways where I can make him distinct, but not overbearingly so, in the sense that one of my phobias is to be perceived as having main character syndrome,
which is every D&D character. Because I mean,
yeah, but not in the same. You know what I mean? Like, when in a group of people, you want everyone to participate, play, and have fun. But if you're always like the center of attention, and suddenly you're, hero ex machina, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just not fun.
Yeah.
So I tend to create characters with a distinct quality. 1 or 2 distinct qualities, but not more than that, and flaws to match.
But in that sense, like, do you start with the personality and or you start with the background, as in like the background as in like the story of the character?
I think I start with the personality first and foremost, because if it depends on the context, right? If it's going to be for a one shot, I might begin with the background and with the character.
I mean with as well, like for a one shot, it's also a little bit different because
it's going to be a set amount of hours, and that's it.
You're gonna play for a very short time, and you don't have time to explore that background.
Exactly. But if it is for a campaign which I know might, because this is the thing, might last for a long time, because it never usually does as a player.
You never know.
I tend to work with the personality first, because I want to know whether I would be comfortable role-playing that character over a defined amount of time. It's not done in a professional capacity, right? So it's just for fun for all of us when we're playing. So it's not like you have that obligation where you have to make it your job. Like, it's your job, you have to act out a character, So I'm going to play a character that I'm comfortable playing over 6 months, a year, whatever. Hopefully more. So personality is where I usually start off first. The name, personality, what quirks, perhaps, what makes him distinct. Like, does he have a particular accent? Does he, like, behave himself like he's well off? Or maybe he's a sneaking rat or whatever, you know what I mean? You create those ideas first. And then I try to build stuff around them as well.
Okay. Because what I was thinking is, let's say, because before you said for me it's gonna be easy because it's gonna be human warlock great old one. So let's say you have to create a human warlock great old one. You're already starting with the mechanics though. You're not starting with the.
Yeah, this was a joke. But...
No. But let's say because I know you will probably play one, like in the next few games that we're gonna play.
Warlock, you mean? Yeah,
I believe you're gonna.
Perhaps
you're gonna throw one in.
I might.
So how do you move from let's say a stereotype character for you? Because obviously for you've been playing that a bunch of times. How do you get to create then let's say a personality that matches that is not just another great old one? As in, do you try to diverge from what you usually do?
Okay.
In the sense as in, like, okay, this time I'm gonna choose these spells that I never chose before. I'm gonna choose instead of doing it based on Eldritch Blast, I'm gonna make it.
I think a better example might be to take another character that I played in a one shot. Ravenel. He was a high elf mage. High elf wizard. Sorry. Bladesinger. Exactly. So for a Bladesinger, what I wanted Ravenel, I wanted him to be a little bit over the top in terms of like the personality. Like, he is you know, like Gilderoy Lockhart and Harry Potter.
Okay.
Like the overconfident, but really cannot usually back it up kind of thing. So he's just all about the bluff, you know. So I played that kind of character, and he was like, you know, getting in combat, and he's like, onwards, friends, after you, kind of thing, you know. He sends his friends in combat before he goes in.
And in that case, you started from choosing.
I started from the character. I started from the personality there being like, okay, so this is what I want to be. But I also like, obviously, when you're talking about mechanics, like they're not always linked directly to the personality. Like, for example, I
not
just
necessarily.
wanted to play a blade singer. But yes, that's a good point you made earlier, because let's speak for myself. I tend to get boxed in when creating a character. Like, okay, creating a warlock, creating a wizard, creating a sorcerer. The same set of spells, because first and foremost, I'm familiar with them. Secondly, I know that they're useful in combat.
Reliable.
And they may not necessarily be the most flavorful.
Okay.
Because sometimes that's what happens. So nowadays I try to take pieces of character creation and explore areas that I never explored before. Right, so take spells which might be more about utility, have maybe one offensive spell rather than 7, and then end up using the same one regardless. You know what I mean?
Especially as a warlock.
Like, you know,
Eldritch Blast.
Yes, I learned. I'm ashamed to say, relatively recently, how useless Witch Bolt. Is it Witch Bolt? Is it Witch Bolt? Yeah.
I mean, there is a spell called
Witch Bolt. Yes. How useless Witch Bolt is to warlock who consistently uses Eldritch Blast and has used Eldritch Blast, like Eldritch Spear and like stuff like that.
But I believe you are talking maybe about the 2014 version.
But that's the last time I played.
No, that's why. Because now, for example, it's one of the top choices for warlock, because now you can do the damage every round as a bonus action. So you can still use your Eldritch Blast as an action and then do the damage as a bonus action.
But before we,
before it was.
I still have not played 5th edition 2024.
Yeah, actually,
I have not yet played one. So
that is true.
Looking forward to.
Don't worry. We have in plan to teach you how to play again Dungeons and Dragons in the new edition.
But yeah, I mean, moving on from the personality, then I try to start building the character around it. So, okay, so if this character is, I don't know, overconfident. Why is he overconfident? Is it because he's just a swindler? Maybe he's got high charisma. Like, is that why? Or is he because he's deceitful, like a roguish kind of character? Maybe he's got like that roguish bravado kind of thing, you know, going on. And then you kind of start building from there, and then I tend to pick the class that I want to play. Subclasses tend to be a little bit more like, you know what, this looks cool, let's try it out, kind of, especially if it's a one shot. But if it's for a long-term campaign, I would try to play a few rounds myself on my own, kind of like rolling the dice, playing the character, like, okay, so what would this spell do in this context, you know, like how would this feat work, because unlike you, I do not have how do you say it, like an intravenous line from the internet about D&D directly into my veins while I sleep.
Well, let's clarify on that.
Sorry, like so, you know, like Cyberpunk has that, like the jack, the Ethernet cable. You just plug it in and you download the D&D information. That's what
like
does,
like
I
the
swear.
techno priest in Warhammer. You're just connected to the. No, well, yes, I do watch a lot of D&D content in general. Besides just live play, I just watch a ton of build videos, a ton of, like, you know, news videos about D&D from many very, very famous content creators, and obviously that gives you a little bit of an edge when you go to create a character,
of course.
Especially in the way that I build them, because I always start from an idea, but it's usually an idea of something that I want this character to do or something that I want this character to be.
Okay, so when you say something your character like something for your character to do.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you mean by that? In the sense like throughout his story to achieve this goal, or like as a particular mechanic, like
No, it could be, for example, I want to play an extremely deceitful character.
Okay.
How am I gonna create the most deceitful character I can create?
Okay.
And then I go look for all the things that can grant me the ability to be the most deceitful. Or I want to be the most knowledgeable person ever. I don't care about doing damage. Like, I did play a character that was based on... basically, I want this to be a bookworm.
Ah, interesting.
I want this to be a bookworm.
Bookworm,
But I said bookworm because I ended up playing a Dragon Ball, and I
Yeah, I suspected it might be something like
yes,
that. Yeah.
And obviously was a wizard.
Yeah.
And I decided to and because the context the in which he was existing was the context of Candlekeep.
Okay.
So the biggest library in the Forgotten Realms obviously was an adventure in which we were playing Candlekeep Mysteries. And I wanted this character to not be able to fight in the beginning because he was he grew up for most of his existence in Candlekeep, in which he was sheltered, he was protected, he was safe.
He was never trained in martial.
He had no
combat,
need
yeah.
exactly. He had no need to have spells like I don't know, shield or mage
That's
armor.
interesting.
I wanted to play a character that was literally a bookworm.
That's interesting because when people think typically when people say, okay, I want to create a non-combative character, they don't think about the defensive spells either. But that's a very valid point that you make. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he never had to fight, so why would he ever need mage armor or shield?
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's perfect.
That was one of the choices. And also I said I want this guy just to be able to not only show the fact that he's knowledgeable, but also go the extra mile and make the other people more knowledgeable.
Okay.
So I took spells that allow others to take like proficiencies, like temporary proficiencies in abilities, give them buffs in like charisma checks or wisdom checks, and with enhance ability. And I don't remember what's the other one. I think it's like skill empowerment.
So what subclass was he? What wizard?
So he was a wizard, but he was what is it called? The one with portent.
Add thaumaturgy one.
No, the diviner.
Diviner. Yeah,
It was a diviner wizard.
But diviners have thaumaturgy as well. No, like they have access to that spell. I believe.
No.
No, they don't.
Thaumaturgy is cleric only. Right. I mean, not only, but
yeah.
Other classes get it through subclasses or other stuff.
Sorry, I was confusing them. But yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, that's honestly, I've never seen a player play that subclass. It's a very niche subclass, I think, and it can be very interesting in terms of roleplay.
It is a very strong subclass because portent is insane. Like the fact that you have for the people that doesn't know what portent does, it's a diviner wizard ability that basically in the beginning of the day you roll 2d20s and you write down the results of these 2d20s, and in any moment of the day you can choose to spend one of these 2d20 to change a roll. So obviously it's pretty powerful, and it's especially powerful if you get like a very high number or a very low number, because obviously you can, like, someone can cast I don't know, like hold person on someone, and you say, okay, you get a natural 2 on that saving throw.
Yeah.
So you can make someone automatically fail, or you may roll a natural 20 and you have a paladin in your group, and you're like, yeah, you get a natural 20 for your next smite.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a pretty powerful, but it's also it gives you the ability to push others.
Yeah.
In a certain way, because you can make someone fail or someone succeed.
Yeah, I'm imagining like the role play of this, like when you're trying to change the dice, like this is what I dreamt about last night.
Yeah, actually, I had like the role play wise. Yeah, this character was just seeing the scene kind of like in slow motion.
Okay.
And it was like preventing things from happening.
Interesting. See, I would have played it like a deja vu kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because obviously, like, you know, there's multiple angles you can do this.
Also because obviously I did not take shield, but I did take silvery barbs. So I was also making people fail rolls on demand, basically. So that was like, this is the thing. His aura of diviner was given by these little strange things that happen around him all the time, which was basically when he cast silvery barbs and when he used portent. Because also I entered in this game already like later in the game. I didn't start it from the beginning. So I was already, I think, like level 5 or 6.
I already have like a good basis to play about with that.
Yeah. So I had, you know, the advantage of starting already. I didn't start my build at level 1. I started the build at level 6. So I knew already, okay, I'm going to choose this and this and this and this. So I had the opportunity to make it exactly as I wanted, which sometimes it's harder when you are growing a character from literally level 1.
That is another point, like when it comes to character creation, whether you're starting from level 1, you're starting from level 3, 5, whatever. Because if you're starting at level 1, you want to play a character where the first few 3 levels at least are interesting for you to play, and it's not like, I need to I have nothing to do. Just grind, because obviously you need to make this interesting for you as well. And I think a lot of players start playing the game and like a lot of especially new dungeon masters make the mistake of starting at level 1 because they think it's more simple to start at level 1, and in a way it is, don't get me wrong. I mean, to be fair, that's how the game was designed.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if you're starting with someone that has never played before, already starting at level 3 is a little bit overwhelming.
It might be a bit overwhelming, but at least start at level 2 so that level 3 will be like in the next session or session after kind of thing, you know? Because I think level 1 and 2 for most classes, especially martial classes where they don't have access to spells, they're very uninteresting to play. Like, okay, so I go and I swing my sword. Okay, I go and I shoot my bow kind of thing. And the first level or 2, it tends to be that way. There are some abilities. Oh, excuse me. There are some abilities which, it's the beer. The beer. There are some abilities which might make it interesting in some cases, but in many cases, like when it starts, especially now that clerics also get their subclass.
Yeah, now everyone gets their subclass
at level 3.
Level 3, yeah.
So everyone kind of starts at the same thing, you know.
Which I do think. Honestly, obviously, probably we'll tackle this in a later episode. We will talk about the changes that have been done for 2024 edition of Dungeons and Dragons. But I do agree with having everybody taking the subclass at level 3. I would have loved if all the classes get all the powers at the same levels.
Yeah, I mean, there's
like
a certain...
having everyone level 3, level 6, level 10, and level 15.
Yeah.
Instead of having... Because, you know, some classes obviously grant you things earlier. Some classes grant you things later.
I mean, it's a balancing mechanism. In some cases, I would assume it's... I mean, I like the uniformity of having everyone the same way, because also in terms of managing the game, it gets a little bit easier as well. You know, as when you're running it, especially once you go above 4 players, like things start to get a little bit convoluted. 5 people, 6 people around the table, everyone doing their own thing, and you're trying to keep
7 players around the table.
I started
7
with 6
new players.
Yeah, I started with 6 new ones as well. Yeah, I can relate. I can completely relate. And it was my first time DMing as well. So, like, that's how we started. 7 people around the table. Like, no one had any clue what the end was, other than me, like, watching the first 3 episodes of Critical Role, and that's how we started. But
how long ago was that? How many years ago? Like, which year are we talking about?
When did Critical Role start? It was about that time.
Critical Role started.
Yeah, on Weekend 10 years ago. Yeah, could be something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe not 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. So maybe maybe a bit after Critical Role started, because I remember watching the first couple of episodes on VOD, what we now call VOD. But it was still Geek and Sundry at the time, and I still remember, as I said last time, I still remember Tiberius being in the party. Like,
it was definitely, I think, first 20 episodes,
something like that. Yeah. I remember watching live the part where they went into the Underdark, so it might actually be episode 3 or 4.
So it is, it's the very
something
beginning,
like that.
Yeah, the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because
The very
Crag
beginning.
Hammer is the
Yeah,
first.
that's
is
how
the
they start,
first,
Crag Hammer.
the
We're
first
actually
arc.
rewatching it a
They
few
do.
days ago. We started rewatching it again.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's brave. That's
I
bravery
don't think we're
right
gonna
there.
manage, to be
Nah,
honest.
I don't think. Also because the first batch of episodes, it's like the sound is rough. The sound is really rough.
Yes.
And the picture is okay-ish.
Yeah, but
But the sound is
what I'm doing is I want to rather listen to them over a podcast kind of thing, like audio only.
okay.
And while you're working, while you're in the workshop and that
Yeah,
sort of things,
that's nice.
you
That's
know.
nice. Well, soon you will have new episodes.
Well, for the new episodes, I'm actually going to try and keep up to them live. I mean, I did manage for a good while for campaign 3, but then a lot of things came up, like house and everything, and I had to done. Then once you lose 2-3 weeks, it's like, okay, now you have to catch up on like 16 hours of content.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of stuff. Yeah,
it's amazing. Don't get me wrong; it's one of the best things in the world. But like, 16 hours of content,
and sometimes
and everyone's talking about it already. Like, it's
and you get spoilers
you
and
get
stuff.
spoilers
So
and-
yes, that's when I actually lost them a little bit in campaign 3 because I was so much behind.
Yeah.
And I had already so many spoilers because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch a few episodes where like these big things happen, and then I'm watching recaps and stuff, but not I can't catch up on 100 hours content.
Even if you try like twice the speed, like you increase the speed of playback, it's still a good 8 hours to watch. That's a whole working day.
Yeah,
it's insane. But anyway, like
also I think for the fact that English is not my first language,
for you,
watching it at double speed, there is no chance I'm gonna watch something at double speed.
And to be fair, nowadays, like a lot of their like funny moments, sometimes they happen like visually.
Yeah. And also there are so many clips.
There
Like I follow so many Critical Role and in general like just D&D content creators that anything that happened in that space, I just see it through the clips on Instagram, on TikTok. There are so many so much good content out there that you can just get through clips.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a nice way to keep up with what they are doing if you are not able to actually follow up with them.
I do that. Or once in a while when I give up, I go on their wiki and read for 2 hours, and that's interesting as well, like to me, because you get the story and stuff like that. But going back to our initial topic. So I was telling you, I rather start from like a specific idea of how I want to build something, or I start from what I feel like playing. Especially if I'm going into a game that it's, let's say, not long term, but let's say I know that it's not a one shot. Maybe we may play for a few months, okay? Which has happened to us because we actually have a game that is running behind the curtains. Just a private game just for us. You need a password to get in.
You have to get a password. But yeah, I start from what is something that I would really love to play right now, and then I look at it and I'm like, okay, how am I building this? And then from whatever I build, I'm like, okay, how can I reskin this into something different?
That is interesting because reskinning is a huge part that I love doing for homebrew campaigns, obviously. Like especially when you get like new players, a lot of new players, like especially if they've been following online creators, they tend to see something and suddenly they get all inspired, and that's great. But you get inspired, like, okay, so I want to create like this, I don't know, like super cyber tech samurai in a fantasy setting kind of thing. Like, how can I do that? And most of the time, all the stuff is there already. You just need to reskin it. Like, okay, so maybe you are an actual samurai, like a fighter samurai, but your sword is special and it lights up in flames, like whatever.
It's a magical weapon.
It's a magical weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a magical weapon.
A few weeks ago, actually, when we played with our friends, Evelina and Jason. Oh, sorry, not Jason, because Jason is in this campaign. Paul and Melissa. when we created Evelina's character, she has that stone sword.
Yes.
You know, because she was adamant that her character would never mine iron out of the ground because of her affinity to nature and stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's pretty fucking cool. Let's make it work. And it's just, it's just a stone sword kind of thing. You know, stone swords don't work in real life, but it's the end. It's fun.
Exactly.
And it's perfect, you know. Well, yeah. So
and also we are not even starting at level 1. Like I think we are level 5.
Because I think you need to catch up to level 6 to continue where we left off. Something like that.
So,
if we ever play again, because we haven't played in like 2 months.
We didn't play in a while. Well, I mean, we're playing like once a month.
We were playing
so we just skip August, basically.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so as I was saying, like I start with like, okay, what I would like this character to be, and then I go, okay, so these are the mechanics that satisfy what I want it to be. Now, how do I reskin it into something else? Because I know, and this also depends on the dungeon master that you have, and depends how open the dungeon master that you want to play with is regarding not only the rules, but also like just reskinning stuff. Like for example, with Lydian, with my character, we did a good reskinning in the sense that I wanted to play both a cleric and a druid, and both the cleric and the druid were related in a certain way to
from a very particular
certain
society
aspect
as well, from a very particular society where both of those classes are very significant to their culture.
Exactly. So I think we did a good job of managing to reskin that into and this is the core of what I do. And if you have seen other episodes of our podcast, you might know that I am quite addicted to multiclassing. Meanwhile, Kurt is quite allergic to multiclassing.
Wait, that is not accurate anymore.
Yes, you are extremely allergic.
Anymore. No, since you've... No, I don't want to say... since you've reskinned your argument...
Since I have initiated you to the fine art of multiclassing.
Listen. I hated multiclass for the sake of multiclass because I could never justify it in my mind. I could never reconcile with the idea of like, how does, for example, a warrior who's never known magic suddenly become also, a wizard, for example, or a sorcerer, whatever. Like, it's like, how can I justify it lore-wise? And in most cases, it was easier to not justify it at all and say, you know what, it's a little bit of a bad idea. But when you kind of... rephrase it in a way where like, okay, so this is not two classes in one character. It is a new class made of these two subcomponents, and it does make sense that way. It does make sense.
Which is also the basic idea behind subclasses like the Eldritch Knight or the Blade Singer. Like, okay, this guy is a wizard. How does he know how to fight with a sword so well? Or like, this guy is a fighter. How does he know magic? And the Hexblade as well. Or the Swords Bard. Like, why would a bard know how to wield a sword? But obviously, if you look at them as just the class that they are, that's not the identity or the story of the character. That's just the set of ability that they have.
Exactly.
That's why I think that the core idea of the character should be, okay, I'm gonna take this piece from this one. I'm gonna take this piece from this one because what I want is this whole thing. So I'm gonna use the set of ability of whatever the fighter and of the wizard in order to create. Like, for example, I would not want to play an Eldritch Knight because I don't like mechanically how the Eldritch Knight works. So what if I want to play a wizard that can wear an armor? Or a wizard that is a warfaring wizard? And then, okay, I'm going to take 3 levels in fighter, and I'm going to take, battle master, and then all the rest of my levels are going to be in wizard because I want it to be a wizard that goes to war.
Like a battle mage kind of thing.
Yeah, like a battle mage.
Yeah.
And basically, like, this is the main way in which I mean, to be honest, these are the 2 ways in which I go about. And then the story comes always after, in the sense that what I end up having is like, okay, I have this character with this idea. What is the personality that I would like to give to this person? Like, is this guy gonna be brutish? Is this guy gonna be funny? Is gonna be witty? Is he gonna be smart? or is he gonna be smart and charismatic? Is he gonna be wise and maybe a little bit blunt? Because maybe I have a low charisma.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, I also see, like, okay, how did I put my stats on the character sheet? And I'm like, okay, I have a 9 in charisma. I can't really play a charismatic character. So the only choice I have there is like saying, okay, either he thinks he's charismatic and he's not, a la Lockhart.
Yeah.
Or I'm actually gonna play a very, brooding character that doesn't want to talk with people that much.
I think that is also another mistake that a lot of people make when they have their attributes, their set of abilities, the strength, charisma, dexterity, whatever, and they keep on role playing during the game as if those don't factor in.
Yeah.
And in many times that can pass off, as you're saying, like overconfidence or something like that, and then you can't really back it up. Sometimes it's purposeful, sometimes it's not. I think that sometimes that can be a little bit disappointing for players as well, because they want to do something cool and their character can't literally do it.
Can back it up. Yeah.
They can't back it up, and they end up getting discouraged and that sort of thing. So, I mean, when creating characters, I think one of the main advice that I would give is to, after creating your character, actually have a look at your character, see what he is or she or they are good at, and whether that works with your narrative that you want to give. Because it's very easy to kind of overlook it. Let's take an example of, as you said, a low charismatic character. Okay, you will never find typically a low charismatic warlock or a sorcerer or a paladin, because that's their main ability. Okay, but kind of the warlocks don't typically tend to take a front and center role in my experience, like when it comes to interactions or stuff like that, because
but I think that's very subjective to you in that sense.
It is, but even like with the players I've played around the table, excluding you, of course, obviously, but you have also a lot of experience.
Yeah, I have played one warlock.
Yes,
but I mean that was very little warlock.
Yeah, but it was
mostly other things.
But my point is that players tend to create their character and then kind of forget about the fact that how their character is built, and that to have a good time playing, that I think is very important as well. Because I mean, I'm not saying don't go out of your bounds, because that creates some of the best role play. Like trying to do something your character isn't good at, and then failing gloriously or succeeding just as well makes for very
surprisingly
good role play. I'm not saying people shouldn't try things that their character typically cannot do, but what I'm saying is, to avoid disappointment, be aware of what your character's limitations are, because in the game your character would probably be aware of their limitations as well. They would try to kind of chance it, because there's an element of luck in some cases, but
I mean, sometimes you can be a wizard and have 18 strength and still see a portcullis that is closing and try to help your friend.
That's
but still
fine.
You're not gonna be a big help there.
But you're not going to go like, okay, leave this to me, and
exactly.
I mean, unless you're purposefully doing it for comedy kind of thing.
Absolutely. And that's why sometimes I try to, especially when I start new players to the game, I always tell them, listen, give me a character in the cinematic sphere that you want your character to resemble. As in, what's your idea? What do you have in mind? Do you want to play Son Goku? Do you want to play Thor? Do you want to play
Aragorn, whatever,
Doctor Strange? Do you want to play do you want to play Spider-Man? So that from what they tell me, I can tell them, okay, so do you want someone that is good at doing like physical things? Or you want someone that is good at, because this thing, you can be a cleric and have 16 in strength. And be pretty strong. So you don't necessarily have to be a barbarian to lift things up and be strong. But I need to understand, as a dungeon master at least, I need to understand what do you want to be good at. So that then you don't go out of your character. Because sometimes, obviously, your personality bleeds into your character. And in the beginning...
it happens a lot, it's true.
In the beginning, when I started playing, obviously I was very, very young. So most of me would bleed into the character. And I've always been a very analytic person. So I would play characters that had, 18 intelligence, but then solve all the riddles. Because I did not have the ability to separate myself from my
that
character.
is exactly what I'm trying to drive at.
Exactly. So sometimes you may be super charismatic as a person, or you can be super smart as a person, or super wise as a person,
but your character is not.
But your character is not necessarily.
And that is one of the reasons why taking a little bit of a deviation from the character creation thing.
We always 25 diversion.
I've been seeing a lot of reels where, and it's not new by any stretch of the imagination. It's quite common where dungeon masters create physical puzzles or physical riddles, or like, first and foremost, riddles are, shall we say, a very difficult medium to implement in D&D, because you will always be as a player, you will solve it and you will obviously contribute.
Yeah.
You know, very few people will actually hang back and say, I know my character is dumb, he wouldn't understand. Yeah. But the physical element, I've been seeing a lot of like these dials, they would be like a labyrinth with pits in it.
Okay.
And every pit is a number, like 1 to 20.
Okay.
Instead of rolling a d20, you have to roll a ball bearing, like a metal sphere, through the labyrinth into one of the holes, and you try to get a 20, and that will be your roll.
Okay.
Which I think it's an innovative idea, but
to be honest,
it also depends on your hand-eye coordination.
It sounds fun. It sounds fun.
Yes.
But then at that point, it's about your dexterity.
Exactly, not your character.
Is your character good at dexterity, or is your character bad at dexterity?
Exactly.
So that's...
So there's that. And also there's an element of like, you do it 500 times, you're going to get it every time.
Yeah.
You know? So that...
But it sounds fun. It does sound fun. Like, to do it once
in
a blue moon, I think it's a fun idea.
But
it doesn't really...
But it's not. I don't think it should be one of those core mechanics that DMs would implement, you know? And even like something like... then there's like the other side of it, like things like a cryptex. You know, it's a cylinder with like letters on it, and you need to find the right phrase, and
you can slide
and you open, kind of thing, you know. So a cryptex is interesting because the cryptex would probably rely on clues in game anyway.
Yes.
You know, so you would solve the riddle, you find it, and that's a physical medium you can get. So, you know, when it comes to props, and you know, we deviated, I know, but
you love that kind of things.
Yeah. But if when it comes to props, people need to, or players need to be able to separate the character from the player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why, for example, that's why it's so important to me to understand my players when they want to create a character. Why do they want to create that character, and what do they want that character to feel like? Because sometimes, especially, and again, we go back to the newer players, you describe them the classes and like, oh my god, this ranger guy sounds super cool. And like, yeah, it is super cool, but what do you want your character to do?
Exactly.
I want my character to be super strong, and like, that's maybe not the class that you want to be playing, because you can be super strong, but then your character is not gonna function in
the intended
in an
way, kind of,
incredible way. Like, you're still gonna be good at fighting, but then everything else that you might want to do, you're not gonna be as good.
Absolutely.
So that's why sometimes character creation is tricky.
It is.
And I recently had one of my players, he did not accept it yet of the time of recording. But he started with something, and then now that we are at level 4, he realized that his character is not working the way he intended it to be. And the way that he also wrote his background. So I said, okay, I'm gonna rework your character in a different way, see if you like it. And then obviously if you want to make changes and stuff. So we made some changes to the character. Now it's not confirmed yet, but basically he has been moving from an Eldritch Knight to swords bard build, because obviously he wanted to be dexterity based, he didn't want to be strength based. And in the beginning we imagined his character to be the tank of the party, but in the reality he's not working as the tank of the party. So we said, okay, let's just make it something different, make it work for what you want this character to be. So
then there's also the element of players creating the how shall we say, the ridiculous builds. Not ridiculous in the sense of like overpowered min-maxing kind of stuff. The ridiculous builds in the sense of having a rogue, which is high charisma, low dexterity, and he intimidates himself into stealth kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Those are, I mean, to be honest, I always try to tell my players to shy away from these joke characters.
Yeah.
Even though I do have one of my players that always goes for the joke character. At least, like, let's say he likes to make, his names puns all the time. Yeah. Or
I've known people like that.
We know a bunch of people like that. But yeah, for this guy specific, like his character is not a joke, as in like the build of his character is a functional build.
It's just the narrative behind it, kind of.
It's just the narrative behind it. It's always
comical.
It's always a comical, but this thing, it does work. Yeah, it does work because he likes to play quirky.
That's fine.
Characters, so
that's fine. But I'm referring to as we've seen in the past, like this giant orc kind of thing, like look away kind of thing, and and he intimidates himself to success. No, I mean, going back to the original kind of like character creation stuff.
How many times we've gone back to that? How many times we have shied away from it?
The meme of that guy in front of the whiteboard. You know? That's us.
It's literally us trying to keep
everything together. Oh my god, man, we're going.
That's fine.
We're going to be needing some sponsorships by some pharmaceutical companies to keep on track. Yes.
We need meds. By the way, shout out to all the people with ADHD like us.
Like
all the spicy minds out there.
Yeah, this is what happens when it goes unchecked.
Yes.
And given a platform.
Given a platform.
But
we just created a platform. Nobody gave us this. We just took it,
I suppose,
for ourselves.
So when it comes to character creation, as I said, so I start with the personality. You go about the quirks. You build the class around that. But then the background is always very fluid. So when it comes to the background, I have a general concept of it, and for months, honestly, it will just be a loose concept. When I create characters, just like you, like obviously we would have. I do have characters created which I've never played before, as I'm sure you have.
I have, I think, about 60 to 70
I
characters.
Don't have that much, but the ones that I create, they're typically like fully fledged with the background and everything. And then for a few months, they will remain very simple, like I don't know, parents killed in a war, grew up as an orphan, something like that. And then one day, I'll be like, I can't sleep at night. And then
I need to do
on my iPad, I need to do this. Like now is the time where this happens, and I do that.
Why does that always happen? At least for me, that always happens during the week when I have to work the day after.
Yes, I know.
It never happens like on a Friday night, on a Saturday night,
on a Sunday night.
It's always like
So you start the week exhausted. It's always like that.
Yep.
So then you start, and you start building the character from there, and then that's how that's my general process of it. So I start from the creative side, the personality, mechanics, then typically, and the background at the end. But the background typically, because it needs to be fleshed out over quite a long time. That's why it remains last.
And also because for the background, you always have to, like, you have your idea, and then you have to see what the dungeon master has in mind. What the world is, and like how does that fit?
Yeah, the setting obviously
how factors, that overlaps with the actual setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically you start with the idea, and then you make the mechanics try to match the idea. And then obviously you build the background on that. Yeah. Meanwhile, most of the time, especially for this character that I don't know if I ever get to play, it's always like, what would like a Green Knight feel like? I'm like, okay, let me build a Paladin Ranger multiclass, like a dual wielder Paladin Ranger. What does it look like? And then I start that, and then I'm like, so it's gonna be a Green Knight, probably gonna be an elf. And then I choose the elf, and then I'm gonna be like, where would this guy come from, and why he is the way he is? And then I start,
So-
and from there I start moving towards, okay, what's his personality?
Yeah.
What was his upbringing?
Yeah.
And why did he became what he became?
Yeah. So for me, when I find myself doing that, like I say, like going through your process, which is like a green knight, yeah, probably an elf, I'm saying, what if he wasn't an elf? What if instead I wanted to play, I don't know, a gnome? Like actually in the campaign we have running right now, Paul is a gnome druid.
Yep.
He plays a gnome druid who grew up with the elves. So like then it's also as you said, like it factors in with the DM as well, with the dungeon master, because dungeon master will tell you like, okay, there's feasibility, there's not, there's believability, there's not, but we managed to work it out where we said like his character was a gnome with kind of like these innate druidic abilities, and kind of they've had a few episodes where they kind of manifested, not in a harmful way or anything, but kind of like within his people, they were like, oh, like something is wrong with
You're
this
a
child.
weirdo.
Yeah, you're a
weirdo.
weirdo. Yeah. And eventually, his character ran away, ended up finding the elves, and the elves were like, oh, you're a druid. Cool. Come on.
Come with
kind
us.
Of, yeah. One of us. And, hug trees with us kind of thing, and they trained him as a druid as well.
He's a moon druid, right?
Yes.
Because he turns into a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Moon druid.
I thought that he was a halfling.
I can't remember. It could be a halfling or a gnome. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think
Because now you said gnome.
Oh no. Actually, you're right. It's a halfling because they come from Lingmel. Yeah.
I do not remember.
Halfling. I keep forgetting because
Also because our characters, they know very little about each other still.
Yes, we haven't played like two sessions,
have,
right?
I think 2 or 3, something like that.
I mean,
they're still new to each other.
Yes. Yes, it's true because none of you actually have any previous bonds between yourselves.
Yes. By the way, in this campaign, there is one character that it's very suspicious.
Is it you?
Which is not me.
Is it your character?
Melissa's character.
Yeah, always. So.
And by the way, if you have never heard of Paul, Melissa, Evelina, they are some of the OGs Epigeeks.
Yeah.
Because a few years back, I think we spoke about this in the first episode.
I think we spoke about it, but for those of you who are just joining us,
for those of you that who didn't get to see or never heard of them, they are some of the OGs Epigeeks of the originals. Actually, way before me.
Yes, actually,
I joined. I think 1.5 years later or 2 years later.
No, you joined as a guest about 3 or 4 months in.
Yes, a guest, yes. And then 1 year after.
1 year after.
I joined as a permanent player.
Something like that, yeah.
So yes, shout out to the OGs, the OG Epigeeks.
And to be fair, we need to have them like on this podcast sometime soon.
Yes, we will try our best to have them because they all live in different countries.
They do.
So obviously we are in Malta. And they are in other countries in Europe now. Before one of them was in actually North America. Central America, in Mexico.
Before we used to be a Maltese DM from Malta, an Italian player in Malta, an English player in England, Maltese player in Ireland.
Yes.
Lithuanian player in Denmark, and a Mexican player in Mexico.
Yes.
That's how it used to be.
Wow.
So scheduling was a nightmare, and somehow we did it every Sunday.
Yeah.
Somehow we did it every Sunday.
A session was not easy.
We did it live.
And we did it live. Wow. We really had a lot of free time compared to now. But no, we had a great time. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep up with that. So for example, I never got to enjoy playing low level, like very low level with them.
No.
Both in the first campaign, the Legacy of Eshan.
Yeah.
I think I joined when we were level 6.
No, we finished at level 6.
No, but I don't think I've leveled up.
No, as Nathaniel, no.
Nathaniel, my God.
As Nathaniel, that was a cool character in the sense, like, it's really required some creative narrative shtick from my side.
Yeah, also because like this is the thing, we came up with a wild idea.
Yeah.
Like my initial idea was completely different from Nathaniel.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play someone who had something to do with the spirits, with the, like, you know, he had like other like a connection to the multiverse and this kind of things, and then we said, okay, maybe I want to play an Echo Knight.
So that we also justified that by saying, okay, so Pepe wanted to play an Echo Knight, and we justified in a way that his character was part of a cataclysmic event, which kind of jolted him out of existence, and he kind of like phases in and out of reality. Remember, because at the time, your job would not allow you to play every Sunday for sure.
Yeah, fixed schedule.
So we needed to make sure that for when you are not there, it's not like, oh, okay, Nathaniel is tagging along. I hate that.
Yeah, me too.
I hate doing that. I hate controlling the players' characters. So we wanted to have a justification for why Nathaniel was not there with them. And at some point, I think when you eventually changed jobs, and you could play permanently on a Sunday evening, they were on a quest to manifest you permanently.
Yes, actually, we were trying to find a way to anchor me to that reality.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. I remember that. I miss that campaign, man. That campaign was
fun.
Cool.
That was fun to play. It was fun also to come up with that idea with you.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that we have done a bunch of times. Because even my guest character, if you remember,
Exash Kalevra.
I
created a whole homebrew race for you.
Yeah, like that race. Because initially I wanted to be, I think, an Asimar or something.
No, Kalashtar.
The Kalashtar. Yes, that is correct.
You wanted the Kalashtar, and I did not have them in my setting, and to justify the existence of one, typically for me it would mean you need to justify the existence of a whole society of Kalashtar. So I said, you know what, that's a little bit too much, so I actually allowed you to play a Kalashtar, which was reskinned as an Exash at the time.
Exactly.
And then I created the homebrew race of the Exash.
And this is the thing, this is the beauty of reskinning, because sometimes okay, obviously you had your own setting and you wanted to come up with that idea for the Exash.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the name of the race comes from the name of my character.
Exactly.
Because my character was called Exash. And
said, okay, if only you knew the lore behind it. If only you knew the lore behind
it. Well, maybe we will find out. But yeah, I mean, basically, because I was a guest character, because I just played the Kalashtar.
For 2 sessions, you played.
I think for 2 sessions. Yeah.
One which was from after they departed from Arcadia.
No, it
started. You started in Arcadia.
I don't think we were in Arcadia.
Yes,
my character appeared when there was an attack of cultists in a small town, in a small village. They had already left Arcadia.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, in Alvarbrook.
Yes,
I think it was Alvarbrook, and then you went to.
And then we went with Jarodar.
Yeah, with Jared. Yeah,
Jared. then we find out it was Jarodar. We went with Jared like to look for his family, like his father's house or something, and we couldn't find it. And then we ended up in this dungeon.
You found it. Okay, so wait, let's clarify this. So Jared was this farmhand that they met in Arcadia, like the party without Pepe.
Fuck that guy.
Met in Arcadia. He was desperate for help, and that cultists were attacking his hometown of Alvarbrook, and they accompanied him. In Alvarbrook, there was actually an attack by cultists, and this is where they met you, because you kind of fended them off. They saw you first, I think, and I think I hinted to your appearance the week before.
Weird. Yeah, I looked weird.
And exactly, it had like this bronzish skin, no hair, no eyebrows kind of thing. It was like almost like newborn adult kind of thing. And then they went to Jared's farmhouse.
Which we couldn't find.
It took you a long time to find, but you did eventually find it. And it was almost like abandoned for a long time.
Like, I remember, and I was saying, fuck this guy, because I remember telling everybody, like, guys, this guy, I don't know, it gives me a weird vibe. Like, in the beginning, like, he couldn't remember where his father's farm was, or like he said something like,
He was like in shock kind of
he
thing.
was,
Yeah.
he was not sure about it, and I was like, this guy, I don't know
Well,
about
that's
this
what happened.
guy.
I think what happened was, if I can't remember exactly, but I think someone told him that his father had died, and then he rushed to the farmhouse. Something happened at the farmhouse. I think there was a ghost or something, or a specter or something, something
there was,
like that. I
yes.
can't remember. And then you went back, and there was the cultist attack, and he got abducted.
Yes, he got
And he went to the Shadow Temple, or whatever the hell it was called, like this abandoned temple deep in the forest. And,
yes.
And you went there, you raided the temple. You did not find the secret room, by the way. There was a secret room, which was really cool. I had designed it on Tabletop Simulator at the time, and I'm like, oh, well.
You made it too hard to find it.
Oh, well.
You made it too hard to... It's your fault.
You
100% your fault.
Absolutely. And then you defeated the cultists.
Yes.
Opened the kind of like the treasure room. There was like a treasure room kind of thing, and Jaradar fled in there, kind of like afraid that the cultists are gonna get him. Blah blah.
And he
blah.
almost killed me.
He almost killed you because you refused to get out of the way.
Yeah, because I didn't want.
That was entirely your fault.
I mean, of course. Like this guy turned into a fucking like half demon.
So Jared basically found this particular jewel. I remember it was called, like, from this ancient empire. I don't want to spoil too much.
No, don't spoil anything.
No,
shut up.
But this was on live stream. Like, people have watched it. We still have the videos. They're just not published.
Yeah.
But anyway, and he put it on his forehead, and kind of like there was this mutation going on with him, like another pair of bone arms, sprouted out bone wings, horns, kind of.
Yeah,
and
he called half demon or something.
I know, he called himself Jaradar, the Archon of Bones, kind of thing, you know? Became like this super powerful new antagonist to the campaign. And and Jason both refused to get out of the way.
Yes.
And I think he impaled you with his wings.
Yes.
And you tried to heal someone, and he counterspelled you, because I remember you saying this motherfucker counterspelled it.
Yes.
I think we have a clip of that somewhere.
Is that when...
I think when Jason was on the ground.
Yeah, when Jason's
character was about to die.
Yes.
Simmons.
And I
You
tried to heal him or something to stay.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. If I ever find that guy, the Jaradar guy, I'm gonna fuck him.
Melissa's character, Lashana, actually had an encounter with him in Trintar later on. Well, anyway, big plans.
Hate it.
Who knows?
Anyway,
maybe you will see him again in the future.
I will see him again in the future.
Maybe, you know.
Sooner or later, I will catch that guy.
I'll find, like, I'll be sleeping one night. It's like, where the fuck is Jaradar?
It's Jaradar. And that's how I go to jail.
Yeah, well, who wears ways to go?
No, but now going back again
for
to
the 17th
for
time.
the 17th time, it was fun to come up with an idea, and then obviously, as you said, the setting is so important, because obviously there are certain things that are simply not gonna fit the setting.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously you gotta respect that, in a sense that in the end the Dungeon Master has the last word on what is possible and what is not possible in his world. But to be honest, from my point of view, or at least when I am the Dungeon Master, for me, as long as we can work towards making things make sense, I always want my players, through their characters, to have the best time possible.
Yeah.
So
sometimes to do that, you have to put your foot down and say, like, listen, this is not permissible. This is kind of, this makes sense.
For example, I did that with one of my players that wanted to play a class that was not published yet. It was only in the Unearthed Arcana. And I said, no, we don't do anything that is not published. We play with everything. Like, I'm okay even if you want to bring a subclass that is not in an official D&D book, like Wizard of the Coast book.
Okay, so like Critical Role, stuff like that.
Like Critical Role, or I don't know, like whatever, the Gripping Moon, or whatever is on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, but I wouldn't go with anything that is not being play tested and published in an official book. As long as it's published in an official book, obviously I'm gonna review it and I'm gonna say, okay, I think this is balanced, this works. But then for whatever restriction is, I don't know, I want to play a drow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, okay, 90% of the drow are in the Underdark. So
What's your justification?
what's
To
your
be,
justification? And okay, maybe I want to play a half drow. Like, yeah, then makes more sense that you are in the surface.
Yeah.
Because maybe, you know, your parents escaped and you live there, or one of your parents was a drow and the other parent was an adventurer that went to the Underdark and had a baby with a drow.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, for whatever reason. But as much as I can, I always try to make sure that during character creation, they do get an idea and they do get a grasp of what they want. And then all the way along to stick with what they want.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind changing things up if you are unhappy with your character. But I also want to maintain your consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to maintain the personality of your character, but you say, hey, listen, I realize that the build that I'm playing does not reflect what I want my character to be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if your character is still going to be the same thing, it's just mechanically, it might be working better for you. I'm happy to change your class, your subclass, your race. Maybe the race.
Yeah, because you need. I mean, I would prefer.
I would have
I
would have reservation on the race. But the class and the subclass, I'm like, okay, if you don't switch from going from wizard to barbarian, okay. Obviously, if the change is a slight change, like Eldritch Knight to Swords Bard, yes, they are different in certain ways.
Yeah,
but in the flavor, they're
you can kind of
spell
always,
swords.
Yeah,
you
can
know?
always kind of say like they were pretending to be something else. Yeah,
and also like for example, because he. This guy who changed from the Eldritch Knight to the Swords Bard, so he learned fighting outside, like in the outside world, and then he became a guard in Candlekeep. So he learned magic in Candlekeep. So his first like level 1 feat, I gave him Magic Initiate Wizard.
Okay.
So he would keep having, okay, I went there and they taught me how to use magic. Like I knew how to fight as a scoundrel, as a swords bard outside, but then the magic, I learned it in Candlekeep. So I have my first feat, my initial feat is Magic Adept Wizard, because obviously that's what they taught me there. Then obviously I developed my magic as a bard, because I developed it by myself. But my initiation to arcane magic is the one of a wizard. So, you know, you can try and find different escamotage to make things work. And as long as the consistency of the character stays the same, I don't think it's
absolutely. I mean, when it comes to changing characters, then it's not exactly creating a character, but kind of like a parallel to it. Sometimes it happens, especially with people who... Well, it happens to new people who play a character and they don't like it. It can happen to someone who's experienced and say, listen, you know what, kind of like this is something that I play all the time, so maybe like
I don't feel like
I don't feel like it. I in some campaigns I used to allow my players to have like one chance to do that throughout the campaign.
So like a respec?
Like a respec kind of thing, as long as they don't change the race, because the race is typically tied to obviously the appearance of your character. And especially if in the past you've had encounters which were based on your race, like if you're a dwarf among dwarves, you're going to have a certain level of interaction rather than a human or an elf or a gnome or whatever. So like
it has a significance to the
like I used to allow my players like one chance to do that, like one respec.
Okay.
But then beyond that, like listen, maybe it's time to actually sit down, recreate a new character. And we'll fit them right back into the story. Say, have a send-off for your character.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that depends also at which point of the story you are. Like, if you're still in the very beginning of the story, it might be a little bit easier because the character is not formed.
There's always disclaimers, like, this is not gonna happen, like, between two sessions where you're fighting a dragon, for example. Like,
I mean, obviously.
He started as a warrior, you ended up as a wizard kind of thing. Like,
obviously.
No.
No, I mean, that happens, you know.
Yeah.
Or especially if the transformation is a little bit more significant, as you said, like it does need a period of time in which either there is like a downtime and you say, okay, maybe this character got interested in different things and he started learning different things.
That,
you know?
Or like something in... This is the other thing then, but this is more relating to double class, like multiclassing and that sort of thing. I used to allow my players to multiclass, even in the very first campaign I ran. But the the condition was that it needs to be justified in the story. Because we started at level 1 at the time, which was a mistake on my end. We started Lost Mines of Phandelver at level 1.
I mean, it's okay to start
with
level
6
1.
players.
Yeah,
No, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but it's one of the mistakes looking back that I made. I felt like I made a mistake at the time. But having 6 players at level 1, and some of them wanted to multiclass as well. Like, I want to be a warrior and I don't know, something else. I can't remember. Like a sorcerer, whatever. Yeah. And I said, okay, you can, but you may not be able to do it on the next level up because it needs to be justified narratively.
Yeah.
I'm very big on narrative, as you know. Like, you've played my games. Absolutely. I'm very big on the narrative side. I'm very big on the lore, on the actual story of the campaign. To me, the whole combat classes and all that things takes a secondary place in my campaigns typically. So sometimes I even like forget to level up my players. That's why I do it by milestone, because I actually write in my documents level up now, kind of, because otherwise I forget. But it's the story that is central to my games, and some people like that. Some people prefer combat, But yeah, I mean, there are different ways to approach this. We've come up with like 7 different ways.
Yeah, from what you told me, I started laughing internally because I thought how much as a dungeon master we do shape our players, especially our first time players.
Yeah.
If they manage to stick with you long enough.
Yeah, that is true.
And it came to my mind because today I'm wearing this shirt, which is from the Bran Castle, which obviously I went to see the Bran Castle, which is the Dracula castle in Romania, and obviously because I'm obsessed with Curse of Strahd.
Are you?
Nah.
Seriously? No.
Only been running it for the last 6 years.
No.
And I wanted to point out that all my players in that campaign, they have all multiclassed. Like all the characters in the campaign, they have all multiclassed at different stage. One of them has not multiclassed yet, but he has already planned to multiclass. So we have a sorcerer warlock. We have a bard warlock. So the sorcerer warlock is shadow sorcerer, undying warlock.
Okay, it's
Sorry, now it's not undying anymore because when we switched rules, obviously the undying was too old and it has not been ported out, so he became a celestial warlock.
Okay.
Because he's a warlock of the Raven Queen.
Okay,
so I went from undying to celestial because obviously she's a official goddess now, so I switched to celestial. Then we have a lore bard, which has multiclassed into warlock to become a hexblade.
Interesting.
Because she literally made a pact with an entity that gave her a blade. So obviously
you kind of have to.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
You have to. Okay, so like something completely random came to mind. Like, how like the Arthurian legend, like King Arthur was given the sword from the Lady in the Lake.
Yes.
Was he hexblade?
Well, he might be. I mean, to be honest, he was a paladin before, so it makes sense for him.
Multiclass.
It makes sense for him. Makes sense for him to multiclass into warlock.
That's it. Arthurian legend is factually D&D now.
Exactly. Both charisma based, and I mean, King Arthur, he was like a pretty charismatic guy,
well,
so it makes sense.
At least the one on Monty Python for sure.
No, but
what about the other players?
I mean, there are so many. If you think about it, like in history, there are so many people that can just represent as D&D classes. Like,
that would be an interesting episode to do sometimes. Like, we pick like 5 and 5.
We should do Lord of the Rings.
I think so many people have done that before.
Characters from Lord of the Rings into like which class and race we believe they are. But yeah, so
I think the hobbits will be halflings.
Yeah, well, really? No shit, Sherlock. But yeah, no. So Hexblade warlock, Lord Bard. Then I have Ranger. Gloomstalker, which is also rogue. What's the duelist?
Swashbuckler.
Swashbuckler
Okay,
rogue.
all right. So Gloomstalker rogue makes sense to me. Swashbuckler Gloomstalker, like Gloomstalker is one thing, like, you know, I'm hunting, like sneaking and that sort of thing. And Swashbuckler in my mind is always like the Princess Bride kind of thing.
Yeah, so this is the thing.
So how do you reconcile that?
Because the swashbuckler is not a pirate-esque swashbuckler.
Okay.
It's just a very charismatic, as in intimidating, like a brooding sort of guy, which has this character is a guy who has a lot of trauma.
Okay.
Like, he's the only native from Barovia.
Oh yeah, you definitely have trauma.
Yes.
Then, yeah.
He has deep trauma, and he's part of this group of elves that exist in Barovia, which are basically sort of maidenless.
Yeah.
Because Strahd decided to remove all the female of the species. So they are just the last survivors, and it's obviously a dying race. It's a race that is gonna be extinct within Barovia. And then he became Gloomstalker because he started being influenced by stuff. And then
we won't elaborate.
Yeah, we won't elaborate because obviously the character is still playing.
It's still an active
campaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
The player has stepped away for a while. But the character is still in the game, and it's still a very important part of the game. Because obviously I had this player for 4 years and a half, 5 years.
Yeah.
So obviously he's still part of the group, of the party. But we've spoken with the guy. We're in very good terms with the guy.
Just
he might come back even. So
you know,
we hope to see you back. You know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are.
We know who you are.
But I, other than that house, I've never played Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, I know.
You need to induct me into Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, if you love this thing, I've always loved vampires.
I mean, I love the lore behind it. To be honest, I'll tell you what. More than anything, lately I've been feeling the crave to play a game which is not typical fantasy, like the ones we play in our campaign. You know what I mean? Ravenloft, like that's the setting, right? Ravenloft, yeah. Ravenloft is very grim.
Yes.
You know, like despair is like everywhere. Like, it's the normal order of the day.
It's literally a land without sun.
Exactly.
Literally a land that lives in the darkness.
Yes. So that's kind of I've been really craving.
I mean, at least Barovia. I'm talking about Barovia.
Yeah, Barovia. Yeah.
Barovia within Ravenloft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's part of what made me love that campaign is that it's not your typical D&D game. I mean, now it has kind of become, because it became like overplayed because everybody loved it.
Yeah,
when it came out in 5th edition. Yeah, but going back to 3rd edition 3.5, it was popular, but was not this popular as it is now. Because obviously it was one of the best written modules for 2014 edition, so it became super
also
popular.
Like vampires are super popular with everyone.
Yeah.
Like the whole trope of like the vampire antagonist who's always in control is overplayed, but also still very
popular. It's like this overlord that is like too powerful to be challenged. And in my campaign, it's even higher than that. Because obviously I've heavily homebrewed it because I wanted it to be, like this sort of Victorian age monster thing, like where you have all the monsters from, or not all the monsters, but all the typical tropes of the monsters from the Victorian age. So the vampires, the werewolves, the hags, I mean, there are others, but I can't say it.
Yeah, you can't say it, and you should not.
Many
that's
others.
Fine.
But the Frankenstein monster, and there is gonna be more.
Yes.
But I can't speak too much. And I wanted my players to have that experience. And this is the group that started 6 years ago when I literally started DMing
in Malta,
like DMing in Malta. And I was like, I don't want to give them, the usual, okay, let's go and fight goblins.
Yeah, of course not.
I wanted it to be something different.
I think a Curse of Strahd was a great move on your end. And to be honest, you might be one of the most informed, I don't want to call you an expert, but like you might be one of the most informed.
You might.
But I will not. You might be the most informed Curse of Strahd player in Malta and like D&D guy in Malta. Okay, let me stroke your ego a little bit. Maybe
Yes,
even
please.
in Europe. Maybe even in Europe. But that's
Thank
as
you
much
very
as you'll get.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
But yeah, you definitely have to induct me into this Curse of Strahd campaign sometime. Not this one, like a Curse of Strahd campaign sometime.
Yeah, to be honest,
It's just-
I
You have to
also
start a new
I
one.
think you know that because we spoke about it. I also try to join as a player in
Yes.
the Curse of Strahd campaign.
Yeah, but you are overqualified.
I was actually I've been told like, I'm sorry, like you know too much about this game. I want people that doesn't know anything. But can we say hi to?
Yeah, let's say hi, of course. Myron,
Okay, so
yeah.
to Myron. Hi Myron.
Myron,
Shout out to
yeah.
Myron.
Yeah, Myron, by the way, is one half of Nephilim LARPs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be talking about
We'll be
LARPs
talking
as
about
well.
that.
To be honest, I think by the time this episode airs, we may already have spoken about LARPs because
We don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know
but
yet.
We'll see. We don't know.
We
can't
might
see the
have
future.
joined some LARPs, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely will have.
Well,
I definitely will have. Hopefully you as well.
I have never
But,
joined a LARP.
Yeah,
That will be our first one.
Yeah, maybe next time we can actually talk about creating LARP characters one day. We never actually discussed
Yes.
LARPs in detail, you and I think that's where you're going to have trouble getting me to stop. But
Can I multiclass in a LARP?
yes,
Can I create my
yes,
character
as a peasant and a punched face.
Actually, I do have already ideas for my character in my first ever LARP.
Good luck, Jason.
I'm sorry. I apologize to whoever
Good luck, Jason.
to whoever will have
And
to
Myron,
deal with
probably.
me.
But,
But no, I
yeah.
that's another thing. Like I just love imagining how to create a character so much that I've been so obsessed in the last few weeks. Since I decided that I will definitely join a LARP, and since I have joined the group in which you LARP as well, I've been thinking about it obsessively.
I know.
Obsessively.
I know because I share that like obsession as well.
Yes.
Like yesterday we're driving, we had a few errands to run, I told you, and while we're having a coffee, like waiting for the next appointment, we sat down and we're like, you know what would be cool to make? Sorry, let me rephrase it. That's not we said. I told Jade like, now is the time where I start working on the Witcher's alchemy kit. Right. So I started planning it out months ago, like how I want it to look. But yesterday we actually sat down and said, okay, so this would be a good idea. This would be a good idea. This is how we'll do it. And hopefully, I think today after we stop recording, I might actually sit down and sketch a few designs. So I start making it. And the thing is the good thing about being a crafter, and also the bad thing, by the way, is that when you get ideas to make something, you feel like you have to make them.
Yeah, right now.
Right now.
There. Yeah.
And that typically happens at like 11:30 in the evening. And by then I'm like, oh, I need to wake up for work tomorrow morning. Like, I like my job, don't get me wrong. And I go with a certain level of enthusiasm there.
Yeah.
But I'd rather, like at 11:30 at night, I'd rather be crafting.
Well, I mean, wouldn't be amazing if we could just LARP or play D&D as a job? Yes.
Amazing.
Do we still need our real life job? Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Like, obviously, there is a level of pleasure in doing what we do, and there is a level of responsibility in
I mean, look,
having the opportunity to have a good job and following in a good career is.
I mean, realistically speaking, of course, like we're all about D&D and all the geeky stuff. Like, if this isn't evidence of us being geeky, like, we've got like tons of board games and trading cards and books and comics, and
there is literally like anything you want to find
comics,
relating
manga,
to the nerd world. Yes,
like books, lore books. We've even got My theses.
Which is part of the lore books.
They're not geeky. They're my lore. We've got board games.
Yeah, we got Zelda, we got Lord of the Rings, we got George R.R. Martin, we got Monopoly, we got like literally anywhere in the nerddom is over there. Cards. Are those Pokemon, Magic?
No, those are One Piece.
Okay, One Piece.
Magic are the one in the brown, the wooden box.
Literally anything.
Pokemon are in the 2 black boxes to the left. Or to the right, sorry.
And by the way, I don't know. By the way, we didn't say hi to Jade. Hi, Jade.
Hi, Jade.
You've been here for 1 hour and a half almost. And we didn't say hi to Jade.
Yeah, we also need to start wrapping up then, I suppose.
Yes. I just want to say hi to Jade. And can you tell us if they can see the piece that is behind me? You cannot hear me. Like, can they see the piece behind me?
The thing, the D&D one. You can point to it. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. By the way, this is our studio.
Yes, but my point is, all of this costs like money.
Yeah, real money, real world money.
Yeah, and it's a passion to have and collect all of these, and also pay bills and own property in Malta. Like this is like being an
and
adult.
Buy microphones and cameras and lights,
exactly,
and laptops and stuff.
And when you don't get funded by government schemes as well.
By the way, if you want to fund us, if you want to help us. If you want to sponsor us, even like if you want to be shouted out during the podcast,
not shouted at. That's important.
Shouted at, not shouted at.
Shouted out.
Shouted out. That was just my Italian accent. Don't worry about it. Just hit us up. On Instagram, on Facebook. By the way, in Instagram you can now find the link tree with all our contacts, all our social media, all our contacts. You can find everything in there. We need to remember to say these things in every episode so that if people want to actually talk to us, they can. They know where to find us.
There's Instagram, there's Facebook.
Yes. There's our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel,
and technically TikTok as well.
Even though we are still working on that one.
Yes. As you can see, we're not Zoomers. Jeez, I hate TikTok with a passion. Like even for Corso Workshop, I hate TikTok with a passion.
Nah, come on.
Anyway, and
we don't hate you, TikTok. Don't worry.
And we also have Patreon.
And we have Patreon as well. So if you want to hit us up on Patreon, just click on the link. Go have a look. If you want to support us, that's a great way. If you don't have the opportunity to support us, just like as well. You can join for free, but also just like the videos, comment, give us your opinions, subscribe to the channel, follow our Instagram page. That's a great way to support us, even if you cannot economically. You can support and you can share it with your friends. And that said, down in the comment, let us know, how do you create your characters? Do you start from the mechanics? Do you start from the story? Do you start from the personality? So let us know.
Or do you start from setting out to make your dungeon master cry?
Which is what I usually do when I play with Kurt.
And I think that's a good point.
I think on that note,
that's a good note to stop on, because I don't want this to be admissible in court. This might be the scene of murder, and I don't want it to be admissible in court.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I just like to fuck with you a little bit, you know. Just like to.
Oh my god, man!
Just like to kill your CR13 monsters at level 7 with my fighter.
Anyway, I think it's time to wrap up things. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been so much fun to have this conversation and discussion with you. As always. So as Papa said earlier, you can reach out to us on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or even Patreon if you'd like to support us on Patreon. There's the basic tier where you can just support us with €1 or so, and there's also the upper tier, I think it's called the Super Geek tier, where you can also ask us questions, which we will discuss if they're appropriate. Guys, keep it clean on the podcast as well. So
do they need to keep it clean?
Well, I mean,
they don't need to keep it clean. You can go dirty. We are adults. We can talk about anything. If people want to talk about us, like if people want to talk with us about whatever, let them feel free to talk about anything. It doesn't mean that we're gonna hear it in on the podcast, but we're gonna still reply. Don't worry about it. I'm open.
Yeah, Jay just broke down. Jay just broke down.
Well, I mean,
Okay, so yeah, on our socials, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on session 1. Again, as always, Pepe, thank you so much for this conversation, which kills several brain cells at a time, but also regenerates some other. We'll see you next time. And how are we finishing the podcast nowadays? Like,
I don't know.
we're still working on a tagline at the end.
We had one. Jay, do you remember which one was it?
Like last time we said, no, I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember either, but that's fine. Like we can just close it like
this. This is how good we are at what we do here.
Hey, listen. We are still working on it, okay? We're still working on it.
5 years.
Enjoy.
5 years down the line, we're gonna still be working on it.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Well, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining.
Peace out.
And take care. And take care. Bye.
Bye.